Welcome, folks. Monday Morning Racer here. This is Garage Insider TV Live, the return of Lou and Jared. And speaking of Lou, let's bring him in right now. Lou, how you doing from the basement there in Canapolis?
What up, Lee? Or Monday Morning Racer, should I say?
Yes, Monday Morning Racer in the house. I am doing great. I'm doing great. Woo! Ginger Flare in the house. Ginger Flare in the house. But, folks, it is not just Lou tonight. We do have Jared himself. Jared, how's it going?
I don't know what to do, Lee. Am I on?
You're on. You're on.
Oh, it's great to be here. How am I doing tonight?
Well, you're here. That's one good thing, man. I'm so glad for that. I know everybody else is glad for that. Look, I'm going to get this out of the way before anyone else starts typing it in the comments, and I have to rehash it. What happened, and where are y'all now? Go,
Jared.
Okay. I don't, this brings about a flood of things into my head because I was warned not to. I had two choices. I could either quit talking about what actually happened. Well, here, let me tell you what the actual choices were. You need to tell the truth and no more disparaging marks. So I kind of, those two things conflict because the truth was just flat out. I showed up on a Friday after going to lunch with Kendra, and a man who will not be named and is not much of a man ran across and just said, hey, we finally got rid of Lou, and I was all excited. I mean, that's the information I got. I don't care what they say. I was there. That's what was told to me. And I said, well, I guess you lost me too. And you know what? I'm just not much into anybody's mainstream horse poopy. And so, I was ready to jet anyway, because Lou and I, when we first met, we agreed on one thing. We just like cool cars, The rest of this drama mama and narcissism and all that junk, it ain't in our wheelhouse. We don't care. We're just really us. So that's kind of the turning point. It's really all it takes for me. It's a little, you it's just like when you're working on an engine. We went 1/8 of a turn too far. Boop, that was it. Stud broke. I'm out. So that's for me. And then since I've just been kind of bebopping around. I've been working on the old 6-string here.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, getting pretty good. Guitar Hero. According to them, I'm like 96% across the board. So you hit these buttons, and it's just like playing the other. Aside from that, we've been working on a project called Rad Rides with Troy Trepanier, or Trepanier as I call him. There's a voice breaking again. I warned it not to do that. Anyway, and Rad Rides is where we follow Rad Rides by Troy, which is a place that I was, fortunate enough to work at starting in 2001. And I was with him for a lot of really neat projects. And, in this day and age, there's a lot of amazing builders out there. But those guys are really cool because what they do is specific to them. So if you look at another great shop like the Ring Brothers, consider myself friends with those guys. They do amazing work. But it's the Ring Brothers is what they do. They have their way of doing things. And then you got Rad Rides. It's their way of doing things. And we've been really fortunate in being able to follow them and capture what they do the way they do it. And just from the eyes of a car guy, I guess, and really I've just been kind of laying low. I've been fortunate enough to walk around and be a part of it. And then now I think as far as the new year's concerned, I've taken over it, taken full control. And what we're going to do is reboot everything on Amazon, where it's been available for almost a year now, a number of months, I think 10 months, and then also making a new presence on YouTube. So if you've been following us, some of what you're going to see is what was already there, but we've ramped up the artwork. We've taken full control of it, like I said, because normally you have to go through a third-party producer. And they've started, I don't want to be a whiner. Just facts are, they've been in our way. They slowed down our process with a bunch of unnecessary stuff that we just don't need to go through anymore. It's a very new age out there. I think the cable companies are slowly meeting their demise because there's just a newer, better way to do things. And the reason that companies like YouTube have so much popularity, minus the censorship anyway, with what we do, especially in the automotive field, is that people are able to just show the vision through their eyes. And there turns out there wasn't really a prescription for how to do that. There wasn't really a method. It just, there's either right or wrong, or people either like it or don't, even if it is wrong or right. And, that's what it's happening to. That's all I care about. Other than, my friends, my family, my good boy, Lou. I guess that's what we've been up to. So back to you, Lou.
Yeah, dude, I've been, for you guys who don't know, I'm on YouTube, and I think I've got 27 videos up, 28 videos up, just basically teaching.
Yeah.
I mean, because me and Jared have both, our philosophy is pretty much the same. It's one of those things where every day a kid wakes up and wants to change the intake manifold on their car. So it just, they may not have a person in their life to show them how to do it or what to do. They may not have people in their life at all to do it. So I'm just doing that, man. I'm going just teaching, step by step teaching. And, it's working. So I got no complaints about what I'm doing. Monday Morning Racer shoots it. He edits it for me. And we're just trying our best to make good fucking product. Oh, wait, I cursed. Beep, beep. Put a beep in there. Beep, beep. Just doing my best to put out a good product. And that's really it. And it seems to be working because we're really close to getting monetized. And once I start making money at this, me and Jared planned on talking about possibly doing something together and, making it more permanent and what we want to do. That's, to me, that's what's really important, doing what we want to do, not what anyone else wants us to do. Because, there were times when the network would come and say, oh, you guys got to argue and you got to do this and you got to do that. And we're not doing it. Like Jared said earlier, we're not going to do it. And we came to that conclusion 15 years ago when we were doing muscle car. We're just not going to do it. So, and look, and I found this. I found that. They'll probably tell me I can't show the logo or something. But.
Yeah, right. Lee's got to be squirming right now because, well, you know what? He knows what he got into. He's working with you. But, between the two of us, there's going to be some rules broke. That's all there is to it.
Yeah, can't help it.
You go ahead.
Yeah, Lou, you had your one. So, I mean, we're still PG-13, but, let's keep it there. Let's keep it there, man. Hey, guys, look, we got a great question from LSX Hunter, a YouTube channel, good YouTube channel in his own right. He asked this: what haven't you been allowed to show on TV that you wish you could have? The whole YouTube space feels more honest. So what on TV were you barred from showing or getting out to the populace when you were on the shows?
Pretty much everything, because the problem that you have with TV, for the most part, you've got people who know nothing about cars telling car guys what's cool about cars. And their whole thing is, when in doubt, put sparks in, and that doesn't make sense to us because we're car guys. And when we first turned up together doing muscle car, we were the first really diehard car guys that place had ever seen. Like that was our jobs. We didn't, everybody else had other jobs and they fell into TV. We came from a car background all the time to TV. So we were car guys playing TV guys. That's what we were. Right? You have anything else to add to that, Jared? Please.
No, I agree completely. And, that's one of the things, you took the words right from my mouth, because I was going to say it's really nothing magic or mysterious. It was just in the realities of TV, it's a very expensive industry, and it is a real industry, and it's so is the car industry, and those two things that kind of butt heads. And in fact, when I was first approached with these opportunities, after being a hot rod builder for a number of years and at the level that we were doing it at, it didn't seem very realistic to me. So I wasn't interested in it. And then I started to think about, all that goes with being on TV. I mean, so many people wouldn't know my name for whatever that's worth. And it's worth a lot because I've made a lot of good friends and there's a lot of neat opportunities out there. But that being said, you have to understand that these things are shot under a schedule and to play devil's advocate, and like support what the people we used to work for are doing. They have to have a schedule, and cars don't play along sometimes. So you got to really come up and adapt with the schedule, and if it's, 5:00 on a Friday night, these people need to get home, and that's fair. And you got to come up with a way to do things. So I think what would change, or what we weren't allowed to do, was just encounter those problems in real time and let those be a major part of what we were doing. And that's something we got away with a couple times, and it was always very well received. And I'll put it that simply, like, going out and doing a big burnout and you blow the rear end out of something and then the transmission goes, and we're laughing. I mean, Lou's laughing now, knowing exactly what I'm talking about. Dude, when things break, it sucks, but as long as everybody's safe, now it's time to take what you've learned and build on it. Like one time Troy was showing me an engine here recently that I probably won't show on the new, our new project on Rad Rides, but it was this catastrophic engine failure out at the Salt. And I said
really?
So many times, he probably was wiping sweat off his brow. Like, what do you mean cool? But I looked up at him and he had a smile on his face too, because he knew what I meant. It wasn't any disrespect. It was just my goodness, look at what happened to this thing. You know, at the 10,000 RPM at 200 plus miles an hour, and you know, then this thing starved for oil in particular. What I'm talking about, that's the things I want to show. You know, it doesn't have to be the whole episode. Just acknowledge it. Be real. You know, and I think there again, it's another thing that the internet's brought about. Obviously, there'd be a little bit of cursing I'd let fly through. To be honest with you, I mean, Lou and I both talk like sailors. I don't think we wear it as a badge of honor, but it takes away from part of how we communicate. And I'm not talking about being filthy. Just, you know, since it's PG-13, letting a little shoot or a darn it slip through here, it add a lot because in TV you have to go reshoot those moments. You know,
Right.
Okay, now do that again, but use less colorful language. And
Yeah.
you know, I watched Eddie Murphy now when I'm an adult, when I should. His 80s stand-up was great. It's fantastic. You know, but would I have my son sit with me and watch it? No way. You know, but that's it. I mean, and that's it, Lou. But there's nothing wrong with that, you know? So, and you've been a successful parent, so it's just different methods. I'm probably not where I was supposed to go with that, but really, I think it's part of being real, you know? Garage language. There's a reason they call it that.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's just like, it's basically what it is the networks aren't going to let you go full retard. They're just not going to let you do it.
They can't.
I mean,
we couldn't even say
I mean, that's the
retard.
easiest way to put it.
Right. We couldn't even say retard in respect to its scientific, you know, origin.
Right.
I don't know what else you say when you know, you're talking about timing. There's just, and that's a big problem with the world we live in right now. Not that we're going to get off on that, but I would love to. Just people need to chill out and just, you know, actions speak louder than words, you know, and if you're talking about something that makes sense mechanically, just let it fly.
Well, and I mean, you know, for you guys out there who don't know, we were doing a Corvette, the one that ran over my foot, and I was talking about, you know, advancing and retarding the timing on the engine, and the network actually kicked it back, saying that you can't say retard. It's the fact. So we had to take a picture of it, email it to them, the little diagram with the top of the distributor cap, and it says advance and retard, and it's like, what do you tell them after that? You know, and they're like, well, we'll let it go this time. No, that's the technical terminology.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's got nothing to do with your mental capacity, and that's all it was to it. It's just the way it is. God. But yeah, it's nuts.
So guys, from the comments section, let's see, going back a ways, Tyler here, he asks, Lou, whatever happened to the road course Mustang you were building on muscle cars? So let's talk about that build. And then on YouTube right now, I know on Power Nation, they got a Le Mans out there with Lou working on it. So yeah, talk about some of the great builds that y'all were able to do together. And let's kick off with this particular Mustang one first.
The road race Mustang, the body turned up on eBay for sale after it had been stripped out. And then I don't know what happened to it. And then when we first started Muscle Car, we started doing the Challenger, Overkill, and we also did the Crate Camaro. Those were the first two that we did on that show. And then what was really cool about the Challenger was there was a lot of sheet. I got my whole world is heavy equipment, and I did cars as a hobby. So the problem I had was, you know, my idea of sheet metal is plate, you know, 3/16, quarter-inch, half-inch plate. Jared's idea of sheet metal was 22 gauge. So there was a really good learning curve for me because Jared actually showed me a lot of stuff about sheet metal work that I had no idea about. And being that we would work 7 days a week, 2, 3 in the mornings, you know, to be ready to shoot the next day, I learned a lot of stuff from him that really helped me out as far as sheet metal stuff goes, because I had no idea. I mean, I'm a chassis guy. I like messing with suspensions and building control arms and narrowing rear ends. But, you know, now all these years later, I actually have the confidence to do sheet metal work, and I have a pretty good idea of how to do it. So that was for me the really cool thing about the project that we were doing that I did with Jared, you know.
Yeah, stepping away from Rad Rides was a huge responsibility because I got to follow kind of, you know, whether or not I want to. It's just like if you leave a sports team, I think, you know, you kind of carry some of the I don't want to talk too big here, but some of the reputation of the team that you left, and
Right.
if nothing else, you at least carry what you cared about with you, and you're going to apply that skill set, So it was a big challenge to get in there and do that. But I was so happy to find a partner in Lou because, and I'm not blowing smoke here. It was neat to find someone I could be friends with who's just down to earth and genuine. We learned from each other, and it was just one of those things where, and we have very different personalities. I'm extremely dry. Who's outgoing. He's happy most of the time, or he's not. Just you put your helmet on and hide. But aside from that, it was important to be able to work with somebody, that we were able to get along together. And one of the things I noticed from Lou was something like using tapered reamers to adapt one spindle to another ball joint, which I had never even thought of. Those were resources outside of my depth until I went to Rad Rides, and then to start seeing Lou apply some of those things, I thought, okay, cool, this is neat. We're going to get somewhere because together, I think we brought a lot of know-how to the subject, and no one's perfect at this. Anybody tells you ours, just they got something wrong with them. Doesn't make them a bad person. It's just they're operating on their baser instincts. They're still in high school. And I think that's one of the things Lou and I we don't take ourselves too seriously. We take ourselves very seriously. We love what we do, but we don't try and project that we're infallible because we're just not. It's just cars and dudes hanging out. I think the audience sees that. It's one of the best compliments I ever get. You guys just get along, and it shows. And one of the things I wanted to just say to back up to things like the Road Race Mustang and a couple other projects that we worked on, and we were lucky enough to do that, is one of the big things lacking as well from TV projects. Unless you go somewhere like Dave Kindig's shop, obviously, where they'd be kicking ass regardless, to use him as an example. But they have cameras there. But that's because there's a shop there already. It's the same idea. Right. It's where you can't lose to a way of speaking, as long as you got good people and good projects. And when you're doing something like Lou and I were doing, you don't really have the resources. So that was another big challenge. If somebody came to us and said, hey, here's real money, finish this thing, go start to finish, or wherever this project's at, this is where I want to end up, and I'm going to give you money like I give a shop. It doesn't work that way. Everything we were doing is pro bono. Yes, we were compensated for being on TV, of course, but the rest of it, we didn't charge anybody anything. And there again, to pay compliment to the company we worked for, they didn't charge anybody anything because it's not right. You need the content for TV. So some lucky winner gets their car worked on. They get the parts for free, and they get our labor for free. If you were to add some kind of compensation to that, then now you're really able to get into the meat and potatoes of something. And I think that's, where obviously, like talking about Rad Rides specifically, he's got the best clients in the world. So all we got to do is follow them. Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. But I think Lou and I will get our chance. I do. Yeah. Just a buzz everywhere. Everybody wants us to do something. So
and we'll get our chance because we're going to make it. That's what we've done in the past. We've made our chance. We've made our opportunities. So why not just keep pushing that? It's the thing, like you alluded to earlier. The thing is at the end of the day, we're still friends. And a lot of people ask me, like, are you guys really friends? Yeah, we are. And for you guys who don't know this, when we were, well, you don't know it. Last January, when we were leaving the show, I would call Jared every day and tell him, look, man, you're my people. And that means a lot to me. And we're going to get through this. We're going to do what we got to do. Let's go. And to me, it's important because that's just the way I'm wired. And it's the world that I grew up in. If I tell you I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And people will always ask me, how come I stayed so long at the show? And I tell them flat out, it's because me and Jared had a deal. That's all there is to it. We had a deal. Yeah. And at the end of every season, I would ask him, do you want to do next season? And if he said yes, I stay. If he says no, I leave. We both leave. And that was that simple. Yeah, that was our plan from the very beginning. We'd still be doing it now, but there was some events that happened, and Jared said, he called me from Siemens that it's time to go. All right, we're gone. I'm not going to stick around. And it's amazing to me how many people don't understand that. Like I've actually gotten into arguments with people at the production company saying that's stupid. You shouldn't do that. But to me, it's not. It makes perfect sense to me because I want to work with him. I don't want to work with someone else.
Ding.
The whole point of taking the show is because he said he would do the show, and they asked me if I had a problem with working with him, and I said no. And my deal is I'm working with him, not anyone else. And he feels the same way. So that goes a long way for both of us.
That's absolutely what happened.
So, gentlemen, and particularly with you, Jared, I want to make sure that everybody understands, you know, we're right now on Lou's channel. Come back, Jared. Come back. So, you know, we're on Lou's channel right now, Garage Insider TV. You can see a lot of other episodes of Lou working in the shop and several projects like the Chevelle, the Slow Bourbon. There's plenty of other bourbons. It's Bert's Suburban Specialties over here, my goodness. But, Jared, explain again, hone in for us, where can people find you and what is Rad Rides all about, man?
Woo! Should be a simple question to answer, but I overthink everything. What is Rad Rides all about? Okay, I'll say Rad Rides is a show. I can't speak on behalf of the shop, so I'll put it in that context. Where can people find us? Quite simply, right now is Amazon at Rad Rides by Troy. You know, and that's it. I mean, you get Rad Rides in there and you hit go and it'll pop up. One of the confusing things that might be is you'll find us, there will be like a black 55 Chevy owned by Billet Specialties, badass car. And in the background, it's a car Troy built, or Rad Rides did, it looks like graffiti on a wall, and it says, you know, it's his logo. So it should be easy to find. I mean, and if you're a Prime member, it's free. You know, it's just something basically right now we're doing, you know, we're just giving it to people. And if you're on YouTube, which is the other place it is, we just kind of revamped it, like I said, and that is also available. That's on Finding Fast, though. So just think about it like this, real simple. Finding Fast is the company that owns Rad Rides, the series, not Troy's shop. But to get to what Rad Rides is all about, I think just in a nutshell, is it's just, you know, Troy and his team are an extremely fun group of guys to watch. They're an extremely fun group of guys to hang out with. Okay. But above that, obviously, their talent is just second to none. And one of the things that they boast beyond a CNC machine is just that old school ability, man. Like it'd be equivalent to going to a Duesenberg body, you know, manufacturer or Rolls Royce. I mean, it's English wheels. The equipment is unbelievable, and the things that they're able to do with it is so fun to watch. It's for me. And at the end of the day, I hope other people enjoy it. But you know, all I can do is go off my own instincts. I just really love being there and seeing their approach to things, and their diversity is what's really wild as well. You know, you got everything in the shop right now from an '87 Camaro to a '41 Chevy that they're finishing up for Wes Rydell is an extremely important member to the hot rod community. I mean, in a lot of ways, he's worked with Chip Foose and a lot of other, you know, extremely talented, great people, Ring Brothers, and now he and Troy are building this car together, and they've done another one together called Agnes and some other projects. But the cars they're building together are just it's traveling into a place that hasn't really been done before. You know, it's very modern, but almost like you know, a leather-bound book, just trying to keep things in the simplest terms. Very eclectic, very cool to look at, and the process that's been used is the best combination of that old school, you know, English wheel style discipline versus, you know, what you can do with a CNC machine as well, you know. And it's that's Rad Rides, you know. And the next day, I mean, there's a Cadillac V16 sitting there right now, or I guess it's a 12-cylinder, but still, I'm sitting there. I don't even want to ask. When I walk in the shop half the time, Troy's trying to drag me over and show me projects, and I was like, just dude, stop. You can't, because I just, you know, I got to take it 1 minute at a time, and I guess that's how I hope our viewers see it, because that's how excited I am. I don't care if the place was 2 million square feet or 10 square feet. You've got to study it with a magnifying glass to really appreciate it. And it's that's Rad Rides, you know. It's just a car guy's show. Yeah. And that's it. You know, that's what we're hoping for, above and beyond anything. And God help us, someday we'll have the quality in our production that Troy has in his cars. That's the next level I want to get to, you know, and all the while doing things with Lou, et cetera, you know, that, not to say that it's not going to be great as well. It's just, that's there. That's a given, you know. So we got to get to this plateau with Rad Rides, and then, and I think we'll get there, and then, you know, our audience will help us.
Well, the bottom line, we got to get to the point where we're making money so we can go to the next level. That's just I mean, really, that's the bottom line. You know, I mean, it's because the goal is the same for both of us. We just got to get to the point where we're making money at it so we can sustain what we're doing, and then we can move on to the next piece.
Yeah, we did a crowdfunding thing for $500,000, and people scoffed at us, and it's tough. It's tough when you're down and then you get kicked in the beans as well. It's not fair, but it's just part of going through life. You can't cry about it.
Yeah.
It's funny to me that people they're absolutely taken back by, oh, you money grubber. Well, how am I supposed to feed at least 6 families of talented people who can go make far more than I can pay them, right? At that wage? I mean, come on, do simple math. I mean, what? Okay, I'm sorry for giving this to you for free out of my pocket. Well, what? But I'm not going to quit fighting. All right, if that works, great. If it doesn't, fantastic. You just got to put it in perspective. That's all I'm asking viewers to do. This stuff isn't, you see some kids hit a pot of gold on YouTube and they think, well, oh, they bought this Lamborghini. Yeah, I did that at 16 too. Hey, come on, open your eyes. They had help financially. Yeah. Us old guys don't. We gotta just put the work in. And this is a new area for us, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Can you imagine growing up with YouTube or LuTube? Sorry. We trust me, we would have been crazy. We would have
been out of control. God,
it's a blessing we didn't. But anyway.
Yeah, as I like to say, YouTube is not free. A lot of folks do not realize that. It is not free. You still have all the time filming, producing, editing, behind the scenes, and until you reach the certain parameters, you're not making a dime. And even when you do hit the parameters, it's not making a dime, it's pennies with the AdSense, even though you're getting something. And we've almost got Lou there, so that's good. And just got word from Finding Fast itself that y'all are over 1,000 subscribers now as well. So that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So yeah.
Is that true?
Well, there's a huge.
We did that.
Yeah. I'll bring it right back up. Look.
Nice. The other thing is it's amazing how many people think that we're millionaires because we're on TV. That's the thing that I find amusing. And if you and my son showed me this, it says on the internet that I'm worth $4 million. Now I want to know where that money is. That's what I want to know.
You're worth $4 million in used Suburbans.
Huh?
Sorry, I got to stop you there. You're worth $4 million in used Suburbans. All right, go ahead.
Yes.
They got you there.
Hey,
there's always another Suburban popping up. I'm like, where'd this one come from?
And I'm going to tell you, I still got my dad's truck. I still got it.
You better. Like you tell people, that better be willed to me.
So, guys, look, in the comments section, a lot of fans they're chiming in. They want to see y'all back together. They want to see y'all back together on another show, on a TV type format. Now, I'm curious. I want to take all those comments and mold them into this. Do you want to, in fact, really go back to TV at all with what you've experienced, or do you want to keep the liberty that you're finding on YouTube and other platforms? Or is there a happy medium if the conditions are ever right?
I don't, for me to go back, quite honestly, it's got to be really good, because the problem that we've had with both the shows that we've done is there's no crew to help us. You know what I mean? Like when we did Car Fix, we had 2 guys. We had Manny and we had Mikey, and then they would constantly pull them away from us, and we would still turn up working. And you got to understand, a lot of people in TV don't understand what it takes to build a car. They don't understand what it takes. They don't understand the labor involved. They certainly don't understand the time, because they don't realize that you run into problems, especially with cars where you're trying to adapt pieces and parts that never came on those cars, onto these cars. So what you run into is the time restrictions that Jared was talking about earlier. So it would have to be one of those things where we would have to have help, serious help, because you don't know what you're going to run into. We would tear stuff apart, and it would be TV done when we got done with it. And that's only because you have to do it half-assed because of TV, because of time. And neither one of us like doing that. It's just the bottom line. We don't like doing TV done. We build cars, and our reputations are more important. So I think we would turn up on something like YouTube or Amazon, where we have total control over what we're building, and we know when it's done. You know, when we hit the key and go, the car is done. We're not driving it around the block twice and hope it makes it and then get it inside and and then, you know, it goes away. It's done. And that's, you know, what I see happening.
Yeah, I'd say give me liberty, kind of like what's going on right now. You know, and there's no reason to sugarcoat it or try and be, you know, nice about it for the almighty dollar. Kind of like what's going on with the nation right now. Give me liberty. I don't care about the rest of it. You know, if I can make a dime off it, that's fantastic. But at this point, you know, I've spent a lot of my life being told what to do by people who didn't understand what they were asking. Everybody has to work hard. That's the way it is, and that's fine. And I'm totally willing to do that. But when you're condescended by people that are just not willing to back up that check that they're trying to cash, you know what I mean? And then B, that are just not nice people. I ain't into that, man. And Lou and I can go and have fun and build cars, what we're doing anyway. So what you're doing is the same thing. You're just removing all the bad stuff, you know?
Yep.
Just get rid of all that. Not to sound like, well, no, I don't care how it sounds. Just be positive, you know? We could have a positive environment with no restrictions. And anytime money comes in, it's pretty much an ugly thing, you know, unless you can manage it from the top. There's a few people been able to do that. I just want my chance to do that, you know, and build cool stuff. And, you know, if that educates people along the way, fantastic. If they laugh because Lou and I don't get along sometimes, that's fantastic. Whatever it is, just positive. And you're probably not going to get that with some big money company coming in, like say from TV. They're going to want things, man. And they're going to want it
their way.
Yeah. You're going to be under their thumb. And I think that's a very important message for anybody that's young that's out there, because, you know, from the age of, let's say 20 to 40, I was into that, you know, whatever it takes. Okay. You know, there's certain things I wouldn't do, but if I got to, you know, bite my tongue and go along with the program so that I can eat steak tonight, it's not worth it, man.
It ain't.
You're so much more liberated. And look at what you can do without money. If you're going to spend money, spend it on tools so you can create whatever the hell you want, and you don't have to listen to anybody else's opinion. And the coolest people on the planet that everybody's trying to follow are the ones that did just that. But guess what? It wasn't popular when they were doing it until it was popular. You can't force that situation. So that's what I think a lot of times. You don't get nobodies on TV. You get people who, you know, establish themselves. And then they come to you and say, hey, we're going to pay you more than you're making doing what you're doing. That's really it in a nutshell, but you're going to do it this way. I won't trade that anymore.
Yeah.
Unless somebody wants to give me a buttload of money. And then I'll do it. Yeah. Which completely, you know, does away with what I just said.
Because the bottom line at the end of the day, and this is something that we both talked about years ago, we're not going to sell our souls. We're just not going to do it. I know I'm not going to do it. And I know he's not going to do it. So it's just going to be one of those things. And you know, I'm telling you, man, I like it when I talk to some people, and like yesterday I was talking to this guy. I got this Miller 135, this little 110 welder, and the plastic piece that holds the drive roller and all that, it was broken. And the Miller guy that I deal with, Dwayne, calls me. I asked him if they still had the part, and he's like, no, they don't have it no more. You know, I'm like, okay, fine. I'm going to try and fix it. I'll rig something up and make it work. He calls me. Yes, he's like, I'm at this guy's place. It's a service center, and I'm going to send you a picture. These guys turned around and started 3D printing the piece that Miller no longer makes, and it's for the machine that I have. And he's like, I would have never, and he's telling me, like, I would have never guessed this. I walked in there to help him with something, and they show me this piece, and the first thing I thought of was you. But the thing is, I'm talking to the owner of this service center, and I say to him, I said, so can I get one of those? And I said, this is what I'll do for you. I said, I'll put it on my show. I'll talk about it. And I don't have to tell anybody. I don't have to ask for permission. I don't have to go to someone and go, hey, can I do this? And they're going to go, well, how much is it? How much money are we going to make? It's not that. I'm getting the part I need to make a welding machine work. And to me, that's well worth it.
That's what's going to start.
I get what I want. And everyone's happy.
That's what's going to start tripping people up. That's what I'm saying. You know, I mean, there is this avalanche that happened of, you know, pay to play. And it doesn't always have to be that way. You know, if somebody, you know, I'll give you, if somebody wants to step up, like, I mean, I think I've been ignoring something here a little bit, not to throw sponsors out there. But the best example of a sponsor is Mother's Polish. they gave us an opportunity to do something and travel into waters that haven't been traveled into before. Now, I'm not chasing gold. You know what I mean? They let us create. They let us follow a person who's not on TV, Troy, but is doing amazing work. You know, they have their sights in the right spot, and they helped us tremendously. But aside from that, yeah, it's really about, sometimes people get a freebie because they were good to you. And that doesn't seem to exist out there in the TV land. It's like, well, you got to pay for that. I get that, but that's what happens when you have 40,000 mouths to feed, you know, these juggernaut networks, you know, because they don't own one, whatever you watch. They own many TV shows. I get it. That's fine. But I didn't make that mess. I don't want to lie in it, you know? And so when you say small and you keep everything controlled, you can take good care of your clients and they take good care of you.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the one thing I like, man. I like telling people, yeah, I'm the guy you got to talk to. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, I'm the guy you got to talk to. I'm the guy that made the mistake. I'm the guy that made the decision. It doesn't, and that's fine. And I can live with that. I can live with that. Yeah, I think it's fantastic to be in that position. I really do. I just got to find someone now to manage the other half of it because I can't.
Gina, where you at?
So guys, look, we got a lot of other channels that are chiming in. Let me say, if you are a YouTube channel and you're out there producing content and you're in the thread, feel free to drop a link if it will allow it. I think I've made it where it can be allowed. Or after this live video, drop it back in. Everybody support one another. We're all up for collaborating. That's what's going to make the deal and push it forward. Just like me and Lou work together and Jared and Lou working right here. I want to put y'all on the spot. So if in the future, and I hope this is working towards a future of a Jared Lou working on something again, what project should it be?
I don't know.
Oh, for us?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to answer that?
Yeah, for us. I still want to do a big rig.
Yeah, big rig. Big rig. I don't know how people receive that, but man, nothing like a stretch nose 379 Pete with a stretch frame, you know, sitting on a car hauler axles like Lou's always talked about. I don't want to run 19.5s on that bad boy though. I want the 21. You know what I mean? Tuck that.
Yeah, I want to do the truck. You know, that's what I want to do.
All right, we got to get our project from A to B, and you don't want to have a lack of power. I saw Kenworth the other night roll a Dodge Challenger with 1,400 horse cat under it. And everybody always wants to talk about horsepower when it comes to diesels. I'm talking, you know, if you're making 1,400 horsepower,
you're making some torque.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
You're making some torque, man. You're making some serious torque. But yeah, I really want to do a rig.
Yeah, me too.
That's what I'd like to do.
It may not be super popular, but I really would like to, you know, this, Lou, knock the kind of some of the mystique off of the Italian hot rods, you know, the Ferraris, Lamborghinis, hot rods, because they're not as intimidating as people make them out to be. They're really not, you know. And one thing that is kind of sacrilege, it's funny because this one always pisses people off. So let me say it. When they talk about like Ferrari, for example, and all the timing belts, and this is just going to light up the Ferrari community, but they're not watching us. Luckily, I really love the older Ferraris. I love playing around with them, and somehow they still run when I'm done. But people go nuts about like the belt changes and things. So you got to, you know, a blower drive belt, right, is a substantial piece of rubber. You know, when you're talking about a cog drive, right, like on a BDS or something, if traditional, you know, big fat blower drive for like a big old root style on a big block. That's basically what the cam belts look like on the 355. Remember when we did those? And then I got people telling me
like an inch and a half. Huh? They're like an inch and a half diameter versus 3 inch diameter.
It's made out of this basically bulletproof material, and then people are worrying about them stretching every 5 years.
Yeah, I know.
All right, now I'd worry about other things. I mean, I'll take that one. I'll take those on the chin. But no, the thing is that those cars are a lot more robust than you think. All the exotic stuff. Just go beat it to death, respect it, but have fun with it. You know, I get on the forums and these guys are always like, "Oh, I got it at 88,000 RPM today." Good, you should, because you're not going to get that. You know, in an old Chevelle. Well, somebody's going to smash me for that because there's an exception to every rule. But I'm just saying, let those little beauties scream. But there is a lot of goofy stuff that needs to be worked out of them. I'd love to do that.
Right. Well, and the thing is those engines are designed to run at 8,000 RPM.
Thank you.
That's what they're designed to do that. So taking it down is nothing.
My
It's
gutless
didn't
come from the factory of titanium connecting rods.
Right.
Hello, McFly.
Zing the shit out of it.
Yeah, have fun. If it breaks, it doesn't have to get you to work on Monday. And if your Ferrari does, then we're living in different worlds.
Exactly.
Anyway, there's a ton.
I'm all for doing some of that exotic stuff. Remember that twin turbo Porsche we did?
The 991.2.
Yeah, like I'd like to do something like that. I think that would be cool. It was that gray one. It was gray with a red interior. We did.
Oh, you're talking about the GT2, the early 2002.
Okay.
Yeah, Alex's car. We did that red Porsche for him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do the 930. That thing with the same turbo ended up making. I mean, it's breaking records all over the place. That thing went on and just kept going. It's awesome.
Yeah. See, I mean, I'd like to build something like that. I think that
stuff cool.
It's
those
just
little things can hunt.
You know, just I mean, it's different. But I mean, build it. I'm talking, make it fatter, make it lower. You know, just go crazy on it.
Don't even get me started on my idea. I'm keeping a vault on this because I've got some.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to do that. I mean, because I've never done one. I've never had the opportunity. The only time I've really worked on the European stuff is with you doing car fix.
That's what I do.
Yeah, I've never really had the opportunity to do it, so I love doing that because I want to learn more about them.
And then the whole slew of the AMG Benzes that are out there for nothing, and the BMWs that are the M BMWs. Yeah, they're expensive. You gotta pay a little bit more. But if we all get out there together as a community and find ways to make these cars cheaper, you're getting a car that was 120 grand new. Right. So you're already starting way ahead. You know what I mean? And then in the pursuit of power, if you drop your prejudices and don't really worry about the badges on it, don't get me wrong. I mean, heck yeah, I want a ZL1 Camaro for the 60s and on and on. Duh. But I also want these other things. Right. Because there's no guilt in taking a car that costs 120 grand. You spend, 10 to 15,000 on it, and it's probably in mint condition at that.
Yeah, because
you make 600 horsepower, some tweaks, and you go tear it up.
Yeah, yeah, and there's nothing wrong with doing something totally crazy. Like I'm really leaning on looking to do a 63 Volvo with a Honda V6 in it and turn it 90 degrees and make it rear wheel drive. Just because.
Love it.
Just because. Build my own bell housing and just do what I want to do.
It's the type of stuff we get into.
Yeah.
No one's gonna want to watch us in reality.
There's plenty of people that will be willing to watch. And I mean, me and Lou's been talking about my car. I mean,
oh yeah, the Soul.
Yeah.
Dude, here comes the big sell. This is why you guys had me on. I knew it.
Yeah.
Check this out. Lee's got this 2010 Kia Soul, right? And we think it needs a head gasket. So we're gonna do struts on it next week, and we're gonna do struts and shock.
At least.
yeah. And we're looking for an engine swap to do with it. And I didn't know this, but in 2004, the Hyundai Genesis came with a V8.
Yeah.
So if we can find one of those V8s,
it shouldn't be a problem. They made a bunch.
And I think it would be even cooler if we could make it all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun.
See, what's cool about that is, regardless of where you go with your platform, if you keep it somehow relatable. So you've got South Korea, relatability there. So, or if it's, to me, whatever it is, Ford and Ford, Chevy and Chevy, that type of thing. I know it's Hyundai and a Kia, but, their parent company is Hyundai. So
right.
It adds up, and I like that. But yeah, that'd be bitching.
I think it'd be cool. And, and the thing is it's, when you think about it, there's a lot of guys, like I look at these Honda boards and I'm just surfing around and you see these, you see these guys talking about these engine swaps that you can't do. And it's not that you can't do them, it's the skill level. So that goes to what I want to do, the whole skill level and teach. You know, if you can show guys how to do this stuff and give them the roadmap, then all they need to do is do it. You know,
once you get those fundamentals set and you get people confident, then you've done something. You know, you got to get people confident, and the biggest way to do that is I think that people are afraid of divulging secrets, and we're not. You know, there is no secrets. It's just you either can or you can't do it, you know, and you hang your hat on that.
Yeah.
But what does perseverance teach us?
It was funny because two summers ago, I was in Ohio at a show, and I'm talking to this guy. We talked for like 2 hours. He's just asking me questions and I'm answering them. And he finally goes, man, why are you so free with your information? And I said, look, I said, what, there's 1,500 cars here? And he goes, yeah, something like that. And I said, if me and you both did chassis work, we can't touch all of these cars. I said, and we're not even talking about the work that was done bad. We're just talking about doing all these cars. I said, there's no way we can do them. So how does it affect what I do? It doesn't affect me at all to tell you how I do something. And he looked at me kind of baffled because, man, you're right. I never thought of it like that. Well, yeah. Because
you just removed insecurity. So that's one of the things that, you know, I learned from Troy. And these are huge life lessons, you know, is I could never understand how he'd let somebody into his shop and divulge everything to him. You know, their cell phones out, clicking away. They're posting probably live or whatever. And he's just undaunted by it. Doesn't bother him, you know?
Yeah.
And I never asked him about it really, but I've just watched him. And I mean, the consideration is hey, if someone can do this and do it well the way he's doing it, there's no threat there, you know? They'll you know, go off and hopefully find success on their own. But when you got it and you know you do, I don't think you worry about people learning from you.
No.
Actually, that becomes the gift.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That becomes your return.
Honestly, Jared, is confidence. He has enough confidence in what he does and the guys in the shop do, where they don't have to worry about it. And that's a place, man, a lot of guys want to be, but they don't know how to get there
because you can't fake it.
Right. Exactly. You know, and you know, I'm one of the first people to tell you, yeah, I can do it, and have never done it before.
That's how we got where we're at, right?
Exactly. I mean, you know, it's like I say, I'm too dumb to be scared, man. You know, I can do it.
I can test
I'll figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that simple, man. You just that's the only way you're going to get there. People are afraid to step off that ledge, you know? It's just, a lot of people are.
Right. Yeah, I've caught a lot of flack for what we've been doing, you know, and some of the hardships that we've gone through. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But I always say, hey, man, at least I had the balls to do it, you know? 2 years from now, I'll be just fine. Heck, 2 days from now, I could be. You don't know. And if you don't take that leap, if you don't try, you're not going to go anywhere, you know? And who cares, you know? Just go be yourself, go win. Just kick ass. The only person who's going to tell you can't is somebody else. And you know, that's somewhere you and I thrive when we talk, is we don't worry about that crap. No. We know we got each other's back.
Right. And at that point, it doesn't matter because we're going to do what we got to do to get through it. It's just that simple.
Right.
It's just that simple. And I like that, man. I mean, you know, I remember that guy in Tennessee who came up to me and he's like, man, I'm 35 years old and watching your show gave me the confidence to learn how to change my own oil. You know what I mean? He told me, this guy told me that. He's like, you know, my dad always took the car out to be serviced, and watching, you know, I took my car out to be serviced, and watching you do what you do, I did some research. I got me a good set of jack stands and I got me a good floor jack, and I changed my own oil now. And this guy was blown away. You could tell he was jazzed about it, you know?
It's enlightening.
Yeah. And
it's empowering.
It is. And then another time I was in Canada, and there was a bunch of people, you know, a bunch of celebrities there. And the guy who put on the show, the promoter, his son was unveiling a car that he did. And there was this guy there with a kid, probably 16 years old. The kid is clearly handicapped. I mean, he's clearly handicapped, you know, like cerebral palsy or something, but he could walk. And I hear the dad telling him, look, wait till the crowd dies down and you can take pictures. And I was like 15 feet back from all the celebrities. And I said, what's he want to take pictures? And he looked at me kind of baffled. I said, come on, man. I grabbed his kid, put the rope, I was like, get in there and take your pictures. And and then I started herding cats. I'm like, everybody get together. This kid's taking pictures. Let's go. Come on, let's go.
I love it. That's
the kid's loving it. He's taking his pictures. He's got the people in the pictures.
Yeah.
I gave him back to his dad, and his dad didn't know who the hell I was. And he goes, man, I asked some people in the crowd, and I will watch anything you do from here on out. It doesn't matter. I can't. What you gave my son, it was worth it. I'm like, cool. And to me, that's all that matters.
Look, I literally watched you give your shirt off of your back to someone freezing in Nashville, Tennessee, and you laugh about it. That's a big deal, man. And I mean, there's a homeless guy, and that was cool. That was amazing to me. And you can't duplicate that kind of thing. It's real, and you've always been good at that. And I love that. You shatter that boundary between what's attainable and what's not as far as human interaction. And there needs to be some kind of regulation of that type of thing, because a lot of celebrities, you sometimes you get mobbed, sometimes you don't, but that in between, where that point is. And it's cool. It's cool.
Yeah, we can do what we want. And that's anyway. You can do whatever you want, because you realistically don't have any boundaries unless you commit a crime.
Nope. Right.
You can do what you want to do. You just have to be willing to take the bumps to do it, because it's not going to be easy. It's not. It doesn't matter what you say or do. It's not going to be easy if you've never done it before.
That's right.
That's simple. And that's what people don't understand.
Lee's back.
Don't say anything.
I'm sorry. Yes. Well, guys, look, we've got just, maybe 8 more minutes left in this particular live show. I've got to get to some other live shows, and I'm the guy hosting this. It's on my platform. So, yeah.
Busy.
So, guys, look, who do you need to thank at this very moment for where you're at right now? Jared, let's begin with you.
Oh, okay. My dad, my mom. They just, some people don't have parents, let alone fantastic ones. Grandfather, no longer here. All right, so we'll start moving forward. God, I'm going to miss somebody. Troy Trepanier, for sure. I mean, without a doubt, took a 20-year-old kid in and said, hey, let me show you Wonderland. I just went down the rabbit hole, and I learned an amazing amount. Anybody's given me an opportunity. The past 2 companies that Lou and I worked for when we were doing TV, even, hey, it wasn't a good fit for us, but they gave us an opportunity. Yep. And I'd like to thank everybody that went before us and made this country freaking fantastic, because they believed in it, especially our founding fathers and everybody from there on out. Like I said, unpopular ideas aren't cool at the time, but if you got good motivation, it's worth hanging in there. If your best interest is being decent to people. And I'd like to thank mothers. I'd like to thank Glenn, and I'd like to thank Kendra. And Glenn and Kendra are the other part of our team here. And mothers again, because they've been so friggin' awesome. What can you say? All right, mothers wax, by the way. Polishes, wax, and cleaners. And the new CMX line actually works really well, which, what do you expect from a company like that? But we've done several things together in some videos, and it's just really weird to actually be surprised by a product for taking care of your car. And then I just got to say real quick, I was doing the quarter panel on one of the Ferraris the other night, and Kendra walked out. She goes, what'd you do to the quarter panel? I said, bing, I knew it. Testimonial. All right. It's great stuff. All right, your turn, Luke.
Well, my parents, of course, because they put up with me. My mom put up with me. Unfortunately, she passed in '78. But my dad, who I actually got to know when I went back in the Navy, because I took my dad out of New York, and I got to know him, because I didn't really know him when I was a kid. So that was really big. And I mean, it just people who, for the most part, dealt with me, because a lot of the people that dealt with me, boy, I'm telling you, it was pretty damn rough. and Tina, my wife, we've been together actually for over 30 years now. So she's put up with me and my insanity. because she hates that I just do what I want to do. She really does, but she sticks by it. So she sticks by me. So I got no complaints. And I've raised 4 good kids, but I'm a granddad now, so I'm the viable option. So that means I'll be corrupting young minds again. And I've already said that I'm going to be teaching my granddaughters how to make shanks out of toothbrushes in a driveway when they turn 2. So I got to be ready.
Jesus.
So, but yeah, I mean, it's just basically everyone who's put up with me. I mean, I fell into TV. I never had any intention of getting into it. It happened, and here I am. So I really don't have any complaints. Where's Lee at? Did Lee disappear? There he is.
Hey, I'm back, guys. Thank you for thanking all the folks that you thanked. To everyone that watched, thank you for watching. I know we will be doing this again. Hopefully, some way we work it out where, hey, these guys are turning some wrenches on something together in the same shop. Or maybe we can set up a virtual thing and like you're turning a wrench on the same car and he's turning a wrench on the same car, but different locations. That might be kind of cool. Maybe we can work that out. I don't know. That's too far.
I knocked 2 cylinders out of one of my Ferraris the other day. That's a true story. We might have to do something there because could be compelling. Huh?
What did you do?
Ooh.
Could be tiny. Could have just knocked the heads off some plugs. Who knows?
Dude, you gonna pull the engine out?
The belt probably stretched.
Yeah.
Yeah. The one I said couldn't stretch. Knocked the tire off.
Well, I'm gonna as soon as I get the shipping container in front of my shop and get the shop out. Yeah, I know. It's another story. As soon as I get that done, which I just gotta not have rain long enough to get down there. Scott can't pull the stuff out of the way that needs to be pulled out of the way because it's too wet. But as soon as I can get Scott to do that, we'll empty out the shop. And if you want, man, drop that. We can do it in the shop.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I'm gonna start doing it out. Huh?
Let's figure it out.
Yeah, we can do that. And Lee will shoot it for us. I know he will.
He's shaking his head.
I'll do it. I'll shoot.
Hey, and I'm gonna tell you something. I want to thank Lee for helping me with this whole YouTube thing because he knows way more than I do.
You needed help. So did I. Lee helped me. Lee helped us too. So
yeah, Lee really helped us out. So I
was out there struggling and swimming myself too. So I appreciate that back and getting some love from the Lou and Jared fan base. So that's cool. So, and speaking of that, look, folks, check out the comment section. A lot of channels chimed in. Go support these other channels.
Yes. And
certainly you will see more of Lou and Jared right here on Garage Insider TV.
I gotta say something. So Jared, when we last week we did the question and answer show that we do, and one guy called Lee a Ric Flair midget wrestler.
It was great.
You handled that. I mean, once you went, woo, it's all over with the crying for me, baby. If you know what I'm saying, brother, you get in there. You did it right. You handled that like a man.
Brother, I'm the prop plane riding, rental car riding, interviewing, race capturing, Monday morning racer. Woo!
I've been missing out on something. Woo! Although my favorite is Macho Man. That's somebody else is gonna think. Telling me it's gonna be as a man.
Mean Gene. Yeah.
Elizabeth.
Yeah. The easiest one is Hogan. Like Hogan did the same thing over and over. You just got to wave your hand and put it to your ear, and you're Hogan. That's all you got to do.
And be huge as fuck and like 7 foot tall. I threw the second one in. Bam!
Boom. Great. I got to end the show and edit that now. Thanks, guys.
All right, do that. He's also one of the coolest people I've ever met. Bam.
Yeah, I met him one year at SEMA. He's cool.
He's a good man.
Yeah, he's cool.
Very cool. All right. Very cool. Well, we need to have Hogan next time then. So y'all work on that. Until then, folks.
I live like 2 miles from him.
Oh, get him. Folks, look. This has been Garage Insider TV Live, the return of Lou and Jared. Notice the Discovery Channel symbol over the Death Star. I just want to remind everybody. Notice that. And Thank you for joining. We will do it again. Out.
Later.